Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into a creative partnership that has, no joke, defined modern storytelling. We're talking about the one between the book and the movie camera. It's a relationship that's so powerful, it has completely shaped how we tell and consume stories all over the world. So just think about it for a second. Your favorite movies. I'm talking Harry Potter, The Godfather, Pride and Prejudice, Dune. What do they have in common? Well, there's a really good chance a lot of them started out as books. So what is it? What makes this team up between the page and the screen so unbelievably successful? To figure that out, we've got to go back to the very beginning. To really understand this power couple, we have to rewind the clock all the way back to see how they first met. You could call it their first date. You know, when moving pictures first showed up around 1895, they were this incredible technological marvel, but that was pretty much it. People were blown away just seeing a train pull into a station on a screen. It was more of a circus act, a cool trick, than it was a real art form. For cinema to grow up, it needed one thing, and it needed it badly: great stories. And boy, did it evolve fast. I mean, in just a few decades, cinema went from this simple novelty to a massive global industry. Early directors, guys like D.W. Griffith, they saw a golden opportunity. They realized that adapting respected books could give this new medium the legitimacy and, the narrative depth that it was missing. Then, with the rise of Hollywood and the arrival of sound, American cinema was perfectly set up to take its English language stories to the entire world. But look, this partnership wasn't exactly a walk in the park. To make it work, filmmakers had to figure out how to translate stories from one language, the language of words, into a totally different one, the language of images. And this gets right to the core of how different these two art forms are. A novel, right? It can spend pages and pages inside a character's head, exploring every little thought. But a film? It has to show us those feelings through an actor's performance, through the lighting, through the music. A book can just say 5 years later, but a movie has to visually show us that time has passed. It's a massive creative puzzle, and the whole art of adaptation is really about how you solve it. So, over time, filmmakers kind of figured out 3 main ways to tackle this. First, you've got transposition. This is your super faithful, direct transfer. Think of it like a beautiful illustration of the book. Then there's reinterpretation. This is where a director takes the core story, but adds their own unique spin, a new analysis. And finally, you get free adaptation. This is where a book is just a spurk, a jumping off point for something completely new and different, like turning a classic novel into a Vietnam War epic. Okay, so if it's such a big creative challenge, why do it? Well, the reasons are both artistic and, let's be honest, incredibly practical. And the payoff? It's enormous. Just look at this number. Over 75%, more than 3/4 of all the Best Picture Oscars, have gone to films that were based on books. I mean, that is just an astonishing statistic. It proves, beyond a doubt, how critically and commercially powerful this partnership truly is. When it comes right down to it, adapting a book just makes so much sense, especially from a business perspective. For a movie producer, a popular novel is already a proven product. It comes with a story that works, it has a built-in audience of fans, and you've basically got a blueprint for the script ready to go. This seriously cuts down the financial risk, all while borrowing the cultural prestige that comes with literature. It's like having an almost endless well of great ideas. And this winning formula didn't just build Hollywood. Oh no, it had a massive impact on the entire world, turning stories that were once local into global phenomenons. And this gets to the very heart of cinema's incredible power. For millions, maybe even billions of people around the globe, their first, and often their only, time meeting characters like Oliver Twist or Dracula isn't by reading the original books. It's by seeing them on a screen. The movie, in many cases, becomes way more famous than the book it came from. So what happened was this huge worldwide process of what's called cultural diffusion. Because Hollywood pretty much dominated the global film industry, American-made movies became this super powerful vehicle for exporting not just stories, but a whole way of life, a certain version of history, and, crucially, the English language itself. Cinema became a cultural ambassador, whether it meant to or not. So, after a century of this relationship, what's the ultimate legacy? What did it all lead to? Well, it's a little more complex and interesting than you might think. Here's what's so fascinating. Eventually, the influence started flowing both ways.
After decades of movies shaping how we see the world, writers actually started using cinematic techniques in their novels. You started seeing books with jump cuts or fast-paced openings designed to hook you immediately, just like a movie. The student had started to teach the teacher.
And that's really the big takeaway here. This whole relationship started because a young, kind of insecure art form needed great stories and a bit of respect. But what they created together was a whole new language for storytelling that absolutely defined the 20th century. It became the most powerful and accessible story machine the world had ever seen. Which, of course, leaves us with one big final thought. Today, stories don't just go from book to movie. They jump from books to streaming series to video games and then back again. The line between the page and the screen is blurrier than it has ever been. So I'll leave you with this. What do you think is the next chapter in this incredible partnership? Where does storytelling even go from here?